Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Clouducation, starting off the year of 2019 with a little bit of information looking forward with what's coming down the pipe as far as major events that Daryl and I will be hopefully attending throughout the year. So looking forward to kind of sharing some of those events, a little bit of our perspective on them and where they are and when they'll be held. So looking forward to sharing some of that information. So Daryl, just want to say hi again. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome back from the holiday vacation there. Hopefully, hope everybody enjoyed time with the families and friends. So let's hop right into it, Daryl. You know, a little bit different of a topic for Clouducation. I think you know, with the new year, we're going to see some announcements coming out in the community that we'll be able to share into the the next few weeks and such. But for the time being, I think it's a good idea to kind of share some of the things we're anticipating those major announcements to happen at and some of the major conferences that we'll be attending or events around different regions. The first one on the calendar, at least for me, is you know, right around the corner here in January on the 10th and 11th in Toronto. And that's going to be the first event here in North America for the Microsoft Ignite Tour. So we're all familiar with Microsoft Ignite, the major conference, but Microsoft's also running a little roadshow, if you will, similar to Ignite, and going through some of the different topics that you can utilize with Microsoft. So going through some workshops and things like that. So I know, you know, Daryl, as far as my travel is concerned, I'll be heading to the one in Toronto, but there's also one in February in Washington, D.C. here in North America. Not sure if you'll be attending or not. We'll see. I think that's TBD.
Yeah, to be determined.
Yeah.
Yep.
So still working through that. But the folks that may not be here in the States and in Canada, just be aware that there are other events that you can check out on that Microsoft Ignite Tour webpage. So the likes of Singapore, Berlin, Tel Aviv was interesting to see on there in Israel. Love to make that trip if we could. But London, Sao Paulo, as an example, I think Mexico City was up there as well. So if you guys are interested in looking at that, definitely take a peek. I know, Daryl, there's some interesting content that they'll be covering, maybe not just specifically what we do, you know, with Teams and
Right.
Skype for Business, but, you know, some other things as well. But that being said, there's actually a big event from an AudioCodes perspective, and I know you're really wanting to talk about that one. So what's the good news on that, Daryl?
Yeah, so we are bringing a conference, an AudioCodes conference, to North America called AudioCodes Accelerate. We did this event in Israel last year in 2018 in the spring. Where we brought together a group of people to our headquarters, and we desired to do this in North America, and it just didn't work out for timing. We had a pretty big calendar last year, so we got this on the calendar early in 2019. So in just a few weeks in Las Vegas, we're going to have AudioCodes Accelerate. It's a few-day event, kind of similar to what Microsoft's doing with their Ignite Tour, in that we're going to bring people together and have different tracks for technical topics, some business topics. We're going to offer some certification tracks as well, to talk through what we do at AudioCodes and how we can help our customers and our partners and our service providers know what AudioCodes has for them, share a little bit of vision for 2019, and then just, you know, celebrate what we've done together. So that's what AudioCodes Accelerate. Again, it's just in a few weeks from now in Las Vegas, February 6th through 8th. So if you signed up, looking forward to seeing you there. If you haven't signed up, then I'm sure you'll see a lot of stuff on social media from me and Mike, and as we start putting that content together in different forms for things like this, for probably a future Clouducation session. I'm sure we'll wrap that up and recap some of the conversation topics around that. One of the next things coming up will be in March, and that's at Enterprise Connect. So Enterprise Connect is a really interesting conference. That was one of my first major conferences I did with AudioCodes last year, if I remember right, Mike. You know, I joined the team in late 2017, and we did a lot of content and planning in early 2018. But at Enterprise Connect last year is where we, with Microsoft, announced to the world these new concepts of intelligent communications and native Teams phones. But just to recap, the Enterprise Connect conference, that's really more about communication and collaboration industry-wide, right? So that's all types of PBXs, all types of software platforms, all types of management things. And we'll be there. We'll be at Enterprise Connect, and we'll have a booth. I'm sure we'll have opportunities to meet many of you but hopefully meet some new friends as well this year to talk through what AudioCodes is doing in the collaboration and communication space. Which leads us really well kind of into the summertime. And one of the first events that I know that right now is on the calendar for the summer is the Comms vNext conference. I'm so looking forward to Comms vNext version 2, right? The second year of Comms vNext. Yeah, I didn't get to go last year. You know, I had a conflict, but I know that you were there last year in Denver. So why don't you talk to us about Comms vNext so we know what to expect?
Yeah, so obviously something that is near and dear for us because in our community, especially these days with Teams, the voice modality, if you will, that we traditionally have with Link and Skype for Business is getting folded into other pieces of the Microsoft stack, and those lines are getting a little bit more blurry, and really having focused conversations just on the voice piece much more of a challenge, we'll call it. But what the community has done for our buddies that are all MVPs, that they put together this awesome conference last year and brought together the vendors of the community as well as all some key players in the community from the partner ecosystem. And really went through a day of an awesome set of sessions, just updating about what the vision is and what the plans are around Teams and Skype for Business and how that impacts the voice decisions. Did a fantastic job. The reception last year was awesome, and fortunately, those folks are continuing those efforts and going to make this at least a yearly thing. So now we can have that same type of workshop, but the interesting thing is it's actually going to be a 2-day event now. Still out in Denver in June, June 5th to 6th. But instead of having just that sort of 1 day of kind of really hammering through a lot of that stuff and maybe having some overlap of sessions, so you weren't able to necessarily see them all. We're going to have the 2 days, and it's going to be some really good content. You're going to hear information from the experts, the guys that are actually out there deploying this stuff, that are talking to the product team at Microsoft, the vendor communities, bringing it all together to ultimately make these things in the field happen for our mutual customers and ultimately help everybody out. So if you guys were not able to attend last year, definitely highly recommend going in this year in 2019 to Comms vNext. Just do a quick peek online, Comms with 2 M's vNext, and you'll be able to sign up. Hopefully there's still seats available by the time you sign up. But super good information there. Highly recommend going.
I have a quick question. If I remember right, after the success of Comms vNext last year, didn't some of the MVPs, was it in South America or Latin America, also want to take that concept of Comms vNext and start taking it to different regions? That happened, right?
Yeah. Having it just here in the States is great for us, right?
Right.
But there was quite a number of people that wanted to go from EMEA, APAC, etc., or even Latin America, and they weren't able to do it for that just single-day trip. So now having 2 days, maybe people can justify a little bit longer of a trip, right? You have a little bit more content there. But yeah, no, as I understand, there was some MVP or a couple MVPs, not sure, in Latin America that put together a similar event. Obviously, we were not, you and I, there,
right?
So don't necessarily know if and when it happened, if it went great. But the point I think you're looking to make is this went so well last year that it's something that is wanted and desired in all regions, not just here in the U.S. So definitely exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
From that perspective.
I think it's just a really great point for the community of what's happening around there. So yeah, anyway, I just want to kind of mention that. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Continue.
no, great point.
Yeah.
So the last one that we wanted to talk about, which is much further down the road, we're talking November timeframe. So Q4, quite a ways away, but certainly something you want to potentially look into attending is Microsoft Ignite. We talked about the Ignite tour, but now we're talking about Microsoft Ignite, the big conference. And this is really, one of those conferences where Microsoft tends to make their major announcements, either products are being released or potentially even new announcements of things that are up and coming for the future. So at Ignite this past year, we were able to attend down in Orlando. They're going to hold it down there again in Orlando, November 4th to 9th, I believe the dates are. And hopefully another great week of sessions, content. We're going to have a booth down there. So we'll be in attendance. So hopefully we'll be able to go to some sessions and learn some things firsthand as well. But certainly something to keep on the radar, especially if you're focused on the Microsoft side. Obviously for us, again, we're looking at really the voice piece and what we can do with Teams and Skype for Business, but everything else is there. I mean, the Microsoft booth last year was fantastic. They had all the different security and Windows and so on and so forth. So everything you could imagine is there. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Daryl, they were also doing some certifications and some workshops.
Yeah, a lot of workshops, a lot of certifications. I remember at Ignite a couple years ago, I kind of had to re-up my MCSE. It was getting ready to expire. This last year, I didn't have to do that, but I know that there's lots of opportunity to learn, no matter what learning looks like for you. And even if you can't go to sessions for whatever reason, maybe you have some scheduling conflicts. I know at Ignite they always do this really big video wall, which is really great, where you can sit in a chair and have a little thing in your ear and you can watch whatever screen you want to watch. It's really just a great way to participate, maybe bounce around between multiple sessions instead of having to get up and get out and walk and go somewhere else. So, I know these major events are great. And I know obviously sprinkled in between are going to be more times that we'll be able to interact with customers and partners through different events that we might do with at their location, or training or enablement or whatever that might look like. But it sounds like we have another really exciting year ahead of us.
Yeah, no, I think I think these events are really established, and people see the value year to year to attending them, and there's a lot of effort that goes into making these things happen. So hopefully it's time well spent for everybody. But yeah, as you mentioned, these are sort of those marquee events. We're certainly going to have some smaller events that pop up along the year. That hopefully will be in attendance, whether they be our customer events or our partners doing customer events, or even partner events internally to get everybody up to speed. So certainly don't think that this is all we're going to be doing. I'd love that. We'd have a lot more time on our hands, but
for sure.
But obviously there's a lot of work that goes into these events, even if we're not the ones that are hosting the event. Accelerate obviously is our event, and we've been doing quite a bit of planning, and our team has been working very closely on that one. But yeah, so folks, a lot of great content is going to be coming out this year. Certainly make sure you take full advantage of it. Even if you're not able to attend some of these conferences, take a peek at them anyway. Likely they'll be able to live stream, or as you mentioned, Daryl, be able to go back and watch some of them on demand. So even if you don't have the ability to get there, take a peek and make sure you don't miss out on some of that really good information and get it firsthand. But with that, we have a long year ahead of us, a full year ahead of us, I should say. And certainly looking forward to hearing some of the announcements as we go to some of these events, and social media starts ramping back up after the holiday here.
Yep.
So with that, just wanted to again wish everybody a happy New Year. Welcome back, and certainly looking forward to to see what 2019 has in store for us. So thanks again, Daryl.
Good to be here.
Good luck to you this year, and hopefully we can continue what we did in 2018 and beyond.
Yeah, absolutely. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Bye.